Welcome to another episode of Drunk Guys on Chick Flicks, the podcast that hits your eye like a big pizza pie. Hey, that's amore.
That's amore.
Hey, I'm your host, Matt, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Garrett.
Garrett.
Garrett. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a good holiday.
Food.
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 I had a good
food
holiday. Food holiday. Ate food.
I hope everyone had a happy food holiday.
I was actually out of the country for it. I went to London, which was lovely. Had a great time.
We get it. You have a passport.
I like to travel.
I don't really care. It's a lot of work.
It's so work.
It's so much work. It's tiring.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Stressful experience. Hey.
Anyway, what are we watching this week, Garrett?
We're watching Moonstruck, which I'm upset about because why are we watching it?
Because I won the bet.
But this is a movie that I've been talking about wanting to do since like the first episode.
Right. But our the listener, Jesus Kara, was it Jesus Kara? I forgot. On Instagram message, Jesus Kara, asked us to put it in the rotation. You know what? I felt like what better time than now?
Yeah. This is episode 21.
We were going to do to episode 20, but then the timing got messed up and we didn't realize that Thanksgiving was going to happen before we put this one out.
Right.
So. We're watching Moonstruck.
Seasonal constraints and such.
Listen, programming.
I love this movie. I'm only upset that it's yours because I feel like you're claiming ownership over it.
I am. It's mine.
Great. What year did Moonstruck come out, man?
1987.
And who directed it?
Directed by Norman Jewison. He directed a lot of shit. I just picked 3 movies: Jesus Christ Superstar, the original Rollerball, and Only You.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got a really eclectic, he's not in a single genre. He's all over the place. It's written by John Patrick Shanley, who wrote Joe vs. the Volcano, which is a Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks movie, which is what we did last week.
Yeah, that's funny.
He directed We're Back! A Dinosaur Story.
Which is a really sad, weird animated movie.
I remember it from when I was young, and I never saw it, but I remember seeing commercials for being like, that looks weird. I don't know if I'm into this.
It's sad and weird.
Is it sad?
Yeah, it's sad.
I don't know if I like that. And Stay. So
I don't know.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not Stay. And Alive. I wrote Story, and I'm very poor. Whatever. And Alive. He wrote Alive.
Notes to yourself: Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Right?
Yeah, mostly.
Who do we have in this movie? I think this has actually, I know who we have in this movie. Go
ahead.
It's a spectacular.
Who in this movie?
So this is it's Cher.
Yes. Of the Sonny and Cher duo.
Yeah. Cher, Danny Aiello.
Yes.
The incomparable Nicolas Cage.
Our first and possibly only Nick Cage movie that we're going to get to do.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Who's the dad from Frasier?
John Mahoney's in it, and Olympia Dukakis.
Olympia Dukakis is her mom.
Yes.
And she's great in it also. The cast is really good. I've definitely seen this movie a lot. My parents love this movie. My whole family loves this movie.
I've literally never seen this movie ever.
I hope you enjoy it.
I hope I do too.
I think you will.
Do you think I will?
It's adorable.
You're adorable.
I am adorable, but it's a good funny love story sort of thing.
I'm glad I'm watching it with someone I love. I prefer to be watching this with my wife.
I'm just glad I could watch this and then talk about it with someone I love. I'm going to tell my wife all about it later. So the basic premise. We'll get into that later. What are we going to drink?
So I went really easy with this one. We're drinking Blue Moon,
like the regular wheat, white Belgian.
Belgian white, yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ooh, do we have orange slices?
We don't. The only other thing I could think of was moonshine. And listen, I'm not trying to get that drunk today.
Yeah, it's daytime. It's daytime.
It's daytime.
All right, so we're gonna drink standard Blue Moon. Sorry, guys, just moon and moon. You see, they get it.
They see what happens. If you're gonna drink that,
lean over here for a second.
Yeah.
Do you think they get it?
I don't think they got it.
Do you think? The connection is kind of attenuated, but I think it's sort of
like. No.
And we're back.
Trivia. I've got some trivia for this one. There's actually a lot of trivia on the IMDb page. And,
all right.
I just wrote down a couple of things. So. The director was fined by the Actors Union because he refused to let the cast eat lunch until they, quote-unquote, perfected their moods. So that was pretty funny to me. John Mahoney later credited this movie to allowing him to get cast on Frasier. It gave him like the cred to get cast on Frasier.
That's sweet street cred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The line "snap out of it," which I don't know where that falls. Whatever.
Snap out of it.
Apparently, was voted number 96 movie quote by the American Film Institute.
Okay.
Out of 100.
Okay.
Cher apparently mentioned to Olympia Dukakis as they were filming a scene that she believed that this movie was going to bomb, and later she won the Oscar and Golden Globe for Best Actress.
That's so funny. I didn't realize she won an Oscar for this movie.
Oh yeah, it's the only. I mean, she didn't really act all that much.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think she did. Yeah. That's crazy.
Ranked number 8 out of 10 of the greatest rom-coms by the American Film Institute in 2008.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, honestly, I think it's gonna be really high up on my list later. But later,
it's included in the 1001 films you must see before you die.
Sure, I would agree.
It was originally titled "The Bride and the Wolf." Is there a wolf in this? Is Nick Cage the wolf? I'm a wolf.
I'm gonna kidnap the president of the United States of America.
I'm gonna kidnap the president of the United States of America.
I want to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm a cat.
I'm so sorry.
The only Best Picture nominated film that Nick Cage has ever appeared in. And finally, Cher had a busy year in 1987.
Okay.
She was also in The Witches of Eastwick, Suspect with John Mahoney again in 1987, and she resurrected her solo career. Her music solo career. With like her like...
Do you believe
No, much later. That's much later. That was like when I was in middle school. Not that though. Yeah, so what else? That's all the trivia I had.
We have a bet?
Do we have a bet? I've never seen this movie, so you need to bring something to the table here, bud.
So I think the bet is going to be whether or not they say the name of the movie.
Well, let's. All of these movies tend to do that in in one way or another.
And I don't remember if this one does.
Also, it just seems like a hard one to fit in there.
He's a Moonstruck.
I was moonstruck by this broad.
Ooh, see, when you say it in context, now I think it might...
What does moonstruck mean?
All right, fuck it. So that's the bet. What do you say?
I'm going to say no.
I'm actually going to say yes. Because of how you just said it in context, I'm like, oh man, like I could see somebody saying that.
Probably Nicolas Cage.
Or Cher. I could see Cher, or I could see Olympia Dukakis telling like her daughter she's moonstruck by this stupid thing or something. You know?
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So whether or not they say the name of the movie, I got yes. You got no. Fuck it. Great.
Okay.
So we got the beer, we got the trivia, we got the bet.
We got good times. We got great feelings. We got high energy.
I love this movie. I can't wait to see what you think of it.
I'm actually pretty excited.
If you've seen the movie, keep listening. And if you haven't, press pause. And as always, we're sorry for whatever happens next.
And we'll see you on the other side.
And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. And we're back. And we just finished Moonstruck.
Broad
Strokes,
man. I love this fucking movie so much. I really love this movie.
I had some fun. There was a lot of hype going into it. I don't know if it necessarily lived up to said hype.
I hate you.
Okay.
For the words that you said just now.
It's Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage.
Amazing.
Like, real hard.
Amazing.
I lost my hand! I lost my bride!
God, so good. All right. Let's hit the beer.
Well, it was
Blue Moon Belgian White.
Yeah. Almost undrinkable.
We had different reactions. So the beer from the Thanksgiving episode, Smoky Joe?
Something.
Stony Joe.
Stony Joe.
From last week. I could not drink.
I had 3 or 4 of them.
This, I only had 1.
Wow. Oh, so you're not even a drunk guy on Chick Flicks. You drank a beer while watching this movie.
I drank other beers, but
okay.
I
just died in your arms tonight. must have been something I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was drinkable enough. I didn't like it like a ton, but I thought it was better than Stony Joe.
I had a real hard time getting through it. It's just super weedy, and it's just like Belgian-y, but too light. It's so like, I don't know.
I don't love wheat beers generally, but
I don't either. Yeah. It was a harsh go through. But the movie, broad strokes, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun.
I thought it was great.
I had a good time.
Can you do 3 sentences on this? What the plot of this movie is in 3 sentences or less? Go.
Sure. Down on her luck woman is proposed to by her current boyfriend, who leaves New York to go tend to his dying mother. Fiance asks her to get in touch with his brother to make amends and let him know about the wedding. She meets him, and she weirdly falls in love with him really quickly. You see...
Wrap it up.
Shut up.
Wrap it up.
You see a lot of like familial like angst going on between her mother and her father and her and Johnny and Ronnie. And it all boils down to her telling Johnny that she can't marry him and that she wants to marry Ronnie. 3.
Okay.
Was it bad? Was I wrong?
No, that was pretty good. Again.
Okay. Hey,
last weekend.
2 weeks in a row.
Pretty good.
Your turn.
Red leather, yellow leather, red. All right. Here I go. Ready?
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
All right. Widow is proposed to by big whiny baby Dumbo boyfriend.
He didn't have like big ears or anything.
Who then immediately leaves to tend to his dying mother in Sicily. Done.
1.
Upon his request, she goes to try to make amends with his brother so that the brother will come to the wedding and realize that the brother's a maniac. 2. Okay. 3. Hits it off with the brother and falls in love with him, and then has to deal with how she's going to handle telling the brother that she's engaged to, or if she's going to get married to him or not, or whatever, amidst like other familial strife with the rest of her family.
You floundered a little bit in the middle there, but you're okay. That was pretty all right.
That was pretty good, I thought.
That was pretty all right.
Yeah, no, this movie is, first of all, this movie is another movie that takes place in New York City. She's like a bookkeeper in Brooklyn. She's from like an Italian family in Brooklyn. She's a bookkeeper. Like she goes to all these different businesses and does the books for all these like, I guess like these like Italian businesses that are local. Like one's like her uncle's grocery store.
One's a mortuary. Not mortuary.
Yeah, just like local stuff.
Right.
And she was married once in her late 20s. She's in her late 30s now.
Guy got hit by a bus.
Guy got hit by a bus. They never say the husband's name because they never want to make that like a personal thing. You know, did you notice that? Like they never like.
Yeah, you don't want to feel for the husband.
Yeah, exactly. You want to think.
I mean,
about
it's super sad.
No, for sure. But they also speak about it because at this point it was like a decade ago.
She's 40 something, right, in the movie?
She's 37. They say in the movie. Cher was 41 at the time.
No,
of the
okay,
movie.
that's what it was.
But they speak really clinically about it. They're like, yeah, and he got hit by a bus. Anyway, like they say it like very like cut and dry. So that's interesting. She gets proposed to by Johnny Cammineri, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And then that's played by Danny Aiello, and then he has a brother named Ronnie Cammineri.
So
Johnny
good.
and Ronnie. So good. Ronnie's played by Nick Cage, who is just Nick Cage in this movie, and he's also like a real young Nick Cage. He's like 23.
Is he 23 in this
Yeah.
movie? Okay.
I don't know how old his character is supposed to be, but he's only.
Oh, that actually makes sense. I think I read something about them being like him and Cher being like 17 years apart when they were filming the movie or something.
Yeah. There's a huge gap there. I mean, they don't really look that far apart. Like Cher.
Cher looks great in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to generally say those words, but Cher looks great in this movie.
No, she does, and it's funny that like I feel like in a lot of these movies, the age difference between the love interest is like the dude is a couple years older than the female character, and like in this scenario, hey, she was on the other foot, you know. But she's from this family.
What shoe?
And the gender.
Yeah. Okay.
Shoe,
got
the
you.
age, gender, shoe, the shoe where genders get older.
Someone's shoe.
I'm lost. So, she does from this family. You find out that her dad, this like old timey Italian guy, has
real Gindaloon.
Whoa!
I'm Italian. It's okay. I'm allowed to say I'm
too.
allowed.
He's got a card and
he's got a card.
He's card carrying Italian.
Ital.
So. You find out that the father has like a mistress. He's
stepping out on his wife with Mona.
With a woman named Mona.
Who's significantly younger than him. I mean, at least it's meant to be believed that way.
Yeah.
She's not like the mother and him are both like very gray, and the woman that he's out with is like not that. She's got like regular people hair.
You know, I'm going to go back a little bit, but Cher gets proposed to by Johnny.
Johnny.
Right? Johnny doesn't bring a ring.
No, he's kind of a real schmuck.
He doesn't get on one knee.
No, he's like, "Hey, you want to marry me?" And she's like, "Where's the ring? What's happening here?"
And she's a very like strong personality, so she like guides him through. She's like, "If you're gonna propose to him, you need a ring." So he like takes his pinky ring.
She's also really she's pretty superstitious. She's just like, "Yeah, it's bad luck. You know, it's bad luck if you don't get down on your knee. Like, I want to get married in a church, otherwise it's bad luck," and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and she's like really adamant about setting a close date so that it's like she can plan it and actually have a wedding, because she didn't have a wedding with her first marriage.
They went down to the City Hall, which she also thought was bad luck.
Well, she thought that was bad luck, and then he got hit by a bus, and then her father said that that's bad luck for this marriage or whatever. I don't know. There was a lot of bad luck, but so whatever, she proposes. Then she immediately drives him to the airport. He goes to Sicily to see his quote unquote dying mother, right? Then she goes home to tell her parents she's alone. She tells her dad, you know, I'm engaged now.
And he's like, what's wrong with you?
Well, he's like, where is he? Why isn't he telling me with you right now? And she's like, oh, he's gone or whatever. Where's the ring? And she shows him, and he's like, that's ridiculous. That's a man's pinky ring that you're wearing on your ring finger.
It's not even on her ring finger. It's on her middle finger.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't even like fit on her ring finger. She's wearing it on her middle finger.
And she goes, it's temporary. And he says one of the best lines in the movie, which is, everything's temporary. That's no excuse.
Yeah, that's really great. That's a really great line.
It's a really, really good line. The father's a good character. I'm like, you know,
there's actually a lot of good characters in this movie.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, like, obviously, like, you're not rooting for the dad a lot of the time because he's like kind of
a shady guy.
He's not like I don't know that he's a shady guy. I think he's like I think it's like a midlife crisis thing, and he's like kind of like taking this other woman out on the town, and like I don't know. It seems like
no one can know.
No way to know.
No way to know.
But he does have a couple pearls throughout the movie. They live in this big house with like the grandpa, who's this really old school Italian guy.
He's awesome.
The grandpa has 5 dogs. I love that. I've always loved that he's like always like walking a pack of 5 dogs around town.
I also noticed that every time he says anything, he repeats himself. He says it in Italian first, and then he repeats himself in English, or vice versa. And it's just the same thing over and over again. He's like, "Hey, fuck, I can't even think of something that he said. He was just like, you look great," and then he says, "You look great" in Italian right after that.
Yeah. Matt confirmed, however, that is he was speaking real Italian.
All of it's legit Italian.
Yeah. I thought that
so
was
good for
cool.
them. Nice touch.
So yeah, so they live in the house of the grandpa and then the mom, right? And the mom's like this really Olympia Dukakis.
Yes.
And she's awesome in this movie.
She's awesome.
She has some of the best lines in this movie by far.
She has that scene where she goes out to dinner by herself and she meets up with John Mahoney, who I thought was going to be a more central character to this. He's really just an ancillary character.
Yeah, so John Mahoney plays Frasier's dad on Frasier. Martin Crane.
Marty.
We only see him 2 separate times, and he's in the same restaurant every time.
And getting like
broken up with, essentially
dunked on by these 2 younger girls,
by younger women who both of them at the end, like as they're saying goodbye, they splash water in his face. And
you know what?
off.
That's not something that you see that much. We should bring that back. Splashing water on someone's face.
I wholeheartedly agree.
It's just like a great punctuation to the end of a fight. You know what? And fuck you, Splash.
I also think it's like it ruins the rest of that person's night.
Yeah,
it's
he's just like, oh, well, now I'm just wet and uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go home and change and probably not go back out. So thanks.
Because look what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. So you said that so there was a scene.
No, so she goes out to dinner by herself, and like everyone's kind of weirded out except for her. Everyone's just like, oh, you're by yourself. She's like, yeah. What do you care? Like, just let me eat. I'm having a good time. And then like you see him with like whatever John Mahoney. He's out with this girl. She dumps him and leaves. And the mother like invites him to like eat with her. And like there's nothing really romantic about it.
No, not at all.
They just have like a nice conversation.
Yeah.
And she asks him one of the central questions of the movie, which is why do men chase women? And I thought it was like out of everything that he had like such a poignant answer.
Well, he said like nerves. He said nerves, and because for him,
it wasn't him that had the right answer. I'm sorry. It wasn't.
Danny Aiello.
Has the great answer.
The poignant answer.
Yeah.
Just to bring you to that point, though, like, so Danny Aiello leaves. Cher follows up on what he asked her to do, and she goes and finds Nicolas Cage, who's like working in like the ovens of a bakery. In like a wife beater with his hair all crazy. Like he looks like a maniac.
There is a sharp difference between the first time you see Nicolas Cage and the second time you see Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Like the first time, he looks like he's going to kill a person. Get me the big knife.
I won't do it, I tell you.
I'm gonna cut my throat.
I said I won't do it. It's so good.
And then he like invites her to the opera, and he's all like hair slicked back in a tuxedo and like looks really nice, and he's like, the opera is like one of my favorite things to do. And it's just like this weird dichotomy that like I didn't see coming at all.
It is a serious transition. So Nick Cage like blames Danny Aiello for losing his hand to a bread slicer, which
I lost my hand.
And then like as a result of that, he claims like the girl he was engaged to years ago left him because he was maimed, right? But we find out that it really isn't Danny Aiello's fault, that he's holding like Nicolas Cage is holding a grudge for no reason.
Well, because he's a maniac.
Nonetheless, like Cher's really sweet. Like Cher's Loretta. Is really, really sweet, and she's like trying to get him to agree to come to their wedding. It would mean so much to Johnny. You know, Johnny's afraid to come talk to him because he's, whatever.
He's a big vajayge.
Big baby boy.
He's a big vajayge.
Big fat baby boy.
Yeah.
So she goes upstairs to Nicolas Cage, and like they hit it off really, really well, and then immediately sleep together because they have this like really passionate exchange.
My daughter won't be a putana.
That's much later. Yeah. That's much later.
Well, I mean, it's much later.
But she basically like immediately falls in this kind of like passionate love lust with Nick Cage, like almost immediately.
Which I do not get. He's a maniac.
I lost my hand. How was that? Not great.
Not as good as mine.
Not as good. You're a real piece of shit. So that's pretty hysterical.
The movie's good. Like, it's funny. Like, there was never a moment where I wasn't engaged with the movie.
Yeah.
It's weirdly flat in parts.
It is, and they don't really make movies like that anymore.
Right.
Like, the movie lets you breathe between scenes, and it's, like, nice. Like, I like that. It'll take 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and just show them walking down the street with no dialogue to, like, the next building or whatever. And it's beautiful New York.
Like, I would say this is not one of those movies that really tries that hard to make New York look good.
No, but it does show the Met. The Met's beautiful in it.
Sure.
It does highlight like the Twin Towers a lot.
You see the moon a bunch. They really go for the moon in a bunch of it, and they never say
Moonstruck.
So who won the bet this round?
You won the bet.
Oh God! Again, I feel so good. I feel alive. It makes me feel like I've got like vim and vigor, and just like this is all I have. This is all I have.
Are you done?
I'm done now.
Thank you. So, I don't know. A lot of really good comedy, I thought, throughout the movie.
Sure.
Like, and they're generally all one-liners.
Oh yeah. There's no like slapstick in it, which I'm okay with.
Totally fine with it. Really, no physical comedy whatsoever. The mother, one of the mother has a couple of really, really great lines played by Olympia Dukakis, right?
Yeah.
So one is they have like the mother's brother and his wife over, so it's Cher's uncle and aunt over, and they're just the four of them eating with the grandfather. So it's the five of them eating dinner, and the grandfather has these 5 dogs. One of my favorite lines in the movie.
So good.
He goes to feed, like he goes to take his food away from the table, And Olympia Dukakis says, "Old man, if you give any more of my food to those dogs, I'll kick you till you're dead."
Fucking lost.
And he just turns around and comes back to the table all frustrated looking. And it's so good. Like, it's so incredibly good.
I'll kick you till you're dead.
I'll kick you till you're dead. And then at the end, yeah, again, spoilers. So Cher never ends up with Nick Cage, right? Because Johnny's a big wimp. And Johnny actually comes back from Italy and says, "Loretta, I can't marry you. It would kill my mother." Which is like not the best logic, but whatever. We're happy that
it doesn't, there's no through line for that to me. Like it doesn't make any sense. She recovered the second I told her I was getting married. Oh, so like then you should get married. No, I can't marry you. What?
No, I think he said she got bad again, and then he told her he wasn't going to marry her or whatever, and then he said,
I missed that entirely. If that's the case,
well, because at the end he says, if I marry you, my mother will die.
Yeah.
Which again, it's not the best logic, but whatever. So he says he can. She's gonna marry Nick Cage. So Nick Cage proposes to her in front of his brother and the entire family. It's hilarious. The aunt, the uncle, the grandfather, the parents, everyone's sitting in the kitchen for this. And he's like, "Hey, Loretta, will you marry me?" And he takes the ring from Johnny, the pinky ring.
Johnny, can I borrow your ring?
Which is hilarious by itself.
The other thing is when Johnny first comes in, he goes, "Mom's gonna survive," and Ronnie's just like, "Oh, cool.
Oh, that's good."
Yeah, that's it.
Olympia Dukakis says, "Oh, your mother's gonna live." He's like, "Oh, that's good."
Oh, nice.
So
Ronnie, would you like some oatmeal? No, he doesn't want any oatmeal. Actually, it smells great. I would love some.
I would love some oatmeal.
I have a feeling this is gonna be delicious.
Just delicious. It's so good, that whole end scene. But at the end, he proposes to Loretta. And Loretta says, yeah. And then Olympia Dukakis is sitting at the table right there. And she goes, "Loretta, do you love him?" And Cher goes, "I love him something awful."
Yeah.
And Olympia Dukakis just goes, "That's too bad." It's so fucking good. And it's like the delivery. I mean, like, I think like on paper, it's like kind of funny.
Sure.
But her delivery is absolutely incredible.
She's great. She's also like a really great fit for Cher's mom. They look very similar.
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate that. I always appreciate when they find like good casting like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What was the other one? When they found someone who looked like the spitting image. They found it. Oh, it was 13 Going on 30, where they found like a young girl who looked exactly like a young Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, true.
I love that.
Yeah, they did do a really good job in that movie. I just want to talk about Olympia Dukakis more.
Go ahead.
I thought she was incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
Even from like the beginning, the first scene we see her, the father and Cher go to wake her up to tell her that she's engaged.
Right.
And she wakes up, she goes, Who's dead? First thing ever met. And honestly, super realistic.
Oh,
like,
man.
Why the fuck are you waking me up?
The older you get, like when someone like startles you or like contacts you out of nowhere, it's just like, oh God, who died?
100%.
Oh no.
100%. And she also plays like she's got some serious lines in the movie as well.
Well, she's also got the most serious like strife in the movie. Like she knows that her husband's stepping out on her.
She hasn't witnessed it or even heard directly from anyone.
She knows.
But she knows.
Yeah.
And she says like a wife knows.
And she's just trying to like come to terms with why and like what the reasoning is.
100%. So she's like, when she tells Cher that she knows that something's going on,
right? Or
when she's out to dinner with John Mahoney,
with Martin Gray,
and she's asking, why do men chase women? She has an amazing scene with Danny Aiello when Johnny comes back from Sicily, and they're sitting in the living room, and she goes, "Why do you chase men?" And this is what you were saying before, right? Why do men chase women, right? And this is what you were talking about before. And Johnny's not a bad guy. He's just a dope.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. There's no point in this movie where I'm just like, man, she should like get rid of him because he's not a bad guy.
No, he never does anything bad.
He's just kind of like, oh, he's just kind of a sad sack.
But his response to why do men chase women is so good, and he sits there and he goes, well, like in the Bible they say, God took a rib from Adam to create Eve.
Yeah.
And maybe men are chasing
that's something that's missing.
Because that's something that's missing from them. There's this hole right here, and he like kind of points to his chest right where his heart is. And there's this hole right here that they need to fill.
Yeah.
And that's why they chase women. And it's like really sweet. And then the whole time, Olympia Dukakis, her theory has been men chase women because they fear death, right? Which is what I think it is for the father, for Cher's father, for Olympia Dukakis' husband.
Right, as you get
because
older.
It seems like a midlife crisis thing that he's like kind of stepping out with this younger woman or whatever else, right?
Right, so, to make himself feel younger.
Because he fears death, right? That's like her theory, and that's what it seems like with him.
Right.
And then she asks Johnny again in that same conversation, she's like, but why would they chase these women that are younger or whatever? And Johnny just goes, perhaps because they fear death. She's like, thank you.
That's what I said.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And then the other, again, just to harp on Olympia Dukakis, the last thing is at the very end, just before, Nick Cage proposes and it comes to like this nice happy ending, the resolution with the husband is she says, I want you to stop seeing her. She doesn't even bring it up. It's not even a fight. It's nothing.
They're all just like sitting quietly at the breakfast table, and she's just like, I want you to stop seeing her. And he slams his hand down on the table, and you think it's gonna blow up into this huge thing, and he's just like, okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then he basically says something about like, you look at your life and like you don't think it's like built on anything, and and he basically has this really short little statement that would suggest that it was a midlife crisis thing. He just feels like he fears death, right? But he says like, you feel like your life's not built anything. And then she looks at him. This is the most emotional part of the movie. I actually like kind of had a tear in my eye. She looks at him and she's got tears in her eyes for a second. And she goes, your life is not built on nothing. And she got tears in her eyes.
He's crying right now.
And
Guys,
then
Garrett is crying.
And then
right
she
now.
just says "Te amo," and he says "Te amo."
What does that mean, Garrett?
I love you.
Oh.
And then that's the end of the fucking whole issue. That's the resolution, and it's such a beautiful resolution.
It's
to
also
the issue.
It's also like a very old school thing. Like
it is. I also think they like suggest in the movie that he's not like sleeping with this other woman. He's just like kind of like taking this other woman out. Like even at one point, Cher's like, "Ma, he's like too old to." She actually like says that when she's talking to Olympia Dukakis. Yeah. She doesn't say like
this was before the advent of the little blue pill.
Sure. But she actually says like, Ma, he's like too old, So I think it's like a little bit cleaner in that sense too, because it's not like, oh, he's been sleeping with this woman. It's like he's just been like taking out this woman and going through some stupid midlife thing that he shouldn't have been doing in the first place. But it was such a beautiful resolution. And like you said, super old school. I love that. I love that about this movie.
Yeah, like a lot of the sensibility of this movie is super old school and like really believable.
Yeah, 100%. Really did. I think they did a really good job. Like I think the family is really believable as as like a quirky, like mildly dysfunctional sort of.
The Ronnie Johnny thing is a little like
silly.
Outlandish. It's silly and outlandish, but like the main Cher's family is believable.
100%. And then the other thing is the grandpa. The grandpa, who I think if we're gonna do this, do you want to do favorite character?
Yeah.
Who you got?
The grandpa.
I think grandpa's my favorite. It's either grandpa or Olympia Dukakis, but
I actually also really like John Mahoney.
He's like not central enough for me to like think of him as like my favorite character.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite. If I'm going favorite, I'm saying grandpa, but I think I really like John Mahoney's character because he's the push that Olympia Dukakis needed to like really confront her husband.
Right.
Which rectifies kind of everything.
That really is his purpose in the movie. Yeah, that's actually a great observation. I think, I don't know. I love Olympia Dukakis in this movie, but I think just like for as long as I've known this movie and seen this movie, the grandpa.
Well, he's hilarious.
And even just like he steps up, like he sees Olympia Dukakis out walking in the street with John Mahoney.
Doesn't say a word about it. He doesn't know about like whatever possible affair his son is having, who's Cher's father, right?
And he doesn't really comment on anything other than he knows that he needs to tell Cher's father to pay for the wedding because it will make it'll complete her. It's what she wants because everything was bad luck before,
right? And that last scene where everyone's sitting around the breakfast table.
Yeah.
He says something along the lines of, he's like, I can't hold it in anymore. And he's like, you need to do what's right. And I think he's going to say like, you need to stop seeing this woman.
100%.
But he goes, you need to pay for your daughter's wedding. And he goes, okay.
He goes, you break your house with pride.
Yeah.
You need to pay for your daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
And it's just like the delivery of the line is really good. And you break your house with pride. Again, it's like, it's that old school shit, and it's so believable, and it's one of the I love the fucking movie. I love this movie. And the other really
Garrett, did you love this movie?
The other really great grandpa line.
You didn't answer my question.
I love this movie.
Okay.
So the other really great grandpa line is at the very end when they
the great grandpa lie or just the grandpa lie?
Grandpa, standard grandpa, one
grandpa.
When she says yes, when Nicolas Cage proposes at the very end, and this other resolution to the affair thing has happened and all of this, and it's all happened right in front of him, and he's like basically been unaware of most of it throughout the entire movie. So he's sitting there, and everyone's very happy that they just got engaged, and he's sitting there crying at the kitchen table, and Cher's father looks at him and he goes, "Pop, what's wrong?" He's like, "I'm so confused," and it's so good. It's just like. I love the family dynamic. Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Soundtrack, there wasn't really anything, right?
I mean, besides
When the Moon Hits Your
That's Amore.
It's Dean Martin, right?
Is it?
I think so.
I mean, I know he's probably done a version of
it.
I
think the one that they use for the movie is the Dean Martin version, but I don't think there is a single other recognizable song.
Well, there's like the score to La Boheme. They go to see that at the opera or whatever. At the Met. Which was supposedly in the trivia. I didn't write this down, but like that was like supposedly the opening score to the movie was La Boheme.
Right.
And like the testing audiences were like so wildly against it that they were like, all right, we'll just put this other song in it.
I think That's Amore is like way more fitting, and it's like cute, and
it's about moon and
they
love.
showed the moon so much. So it's like when it hits
it's this
your eye,
big cartoony characterized moon in every scene that it's in.
Yeah, they really highlight the moon a lot. Also, what was the movie we're supposed to be about? The Wolf and the
Bride and the Wolf.
The Bride and the Wolf.
And he actually Nick Cage like calls himself a wolf like a couple of times.
He says, "I'm a wolf. You think you're the lamb because you come running to me. That doesn't make you the lamb." Like. They also refer to men and the way men look at women as like you're looking at her like a wolf, like it's it's solidifying that thing where they're like men chase women. Why do men chase women? Right? That's like one of the big things.
It's the hunt.
Yeah, kind of like so you're looking at like I don't want to say predatory. That sounds creepier than it is, but like some like the chase.
Right, the hunt.
But yeah, no real soundtrack.
Not much to talk. I mean, nothing to talk about at least.
Yeah. So your favorite? You said favorite character, Grandpa. Or Mahoney?
Yeah, I would say. You know what? It's hard because you know what? As ridiculous as Nick Cage is, he's engaging, and I feel that way about most of his movies. Also, I wanted to like really like scrutinize Cher for like getting the Oscar for this movie because she went up against some big names in that year. She went up against Glenn Close. She went up against what's her name? Devil Wears Prada. I can't think of her name. Come on, help me out.
Miranda Priestley?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I thought that was just her name.
Oh, you're the devil.
Do I wear Prada?
Oh, I hate you so much.
Meryl Streep, man.
Meryl Streep. She went against Holly Hunter. She went against a bunch of big names and won out. And like Glenn Close in fucking
was it Indecent Proposal?
Indecent Proposal.
Yeah. Matt started this movie and he's like, I can't see how Cher possibly got the Oscar for this.
By the end, I bought it.
And like 20 minutes in, he's like, oh, it's actually very good.
She's actually really great. She does a really great job. Cher's really good in this. I don't know if she's necessarily my favorite character just because there are so many other characters in this movie.
Yeah.
But she does a really great job.
Yeah.
And believable.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you think this movie died?
Yes.
Really?
Yo, for sure. I mean, people like it. It's definitely like, I mean, I read in the trivia before, like it's on a million lists about like you have to see this movie.
It was on HBO not long ago. So I think like somebody's still watching it,
Yeah.
But I think it has like fallen off. It's old. It's pretty old. I mean, it's as old as I am.
It has made me really want to go back and watch like a lot of Nick Cage's old stuff when he was like still quote unquote good. The only like old Nick Cage movie I've seen besides this was Raising Arizona, which is
good.
Well, incredible.
So good.
But like I've never seen Leaving Las Vegas, and I hear it's amazing. That's what he won the Oscar for, right? Las Vegas.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that one either, but I've seen Raising Arizona. It's so good.
It's so good. It made me want to go back and see that. I mean, I saw Witches of Eastwick a long time ago, which is Cher.
Yeah.
I'd like to rewatch that. I don't know. I think it has died. I don't necessarily think it should die, but I mean, it's
just old.
It looks old.
It does look old, and like everything in it is old, and I don't know, but it's not bothered. Like I don't. I mean, it's like a little grainy, but I'm not bothered by it. Like I kind of like the old school. I feel like I'm watching The Godfather, even though it takes place in the 80s as opposed to like the 50s. But
does The Godfather take place in the 50s?
Yeah.
I thought it was like the 70s.
Well, it takes place like 50s and then 60s and then
like the 20s when he's young. With Pacino.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Was it 20s?
I don't know.
Back in Italy. That was a bad. The third one's a bad movie.
The third one's a really bad movie. Anyway, would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Wholeheartedly, right? Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would too. Like, I mean, I feel like I have been recommending it, but what do we think the critics said about it?
What does Roddy Tomatoes say about it?
If you must. Yeah, whatever.
If I must. What? You are the one who's coined the terms Roddy Tomatoes.
What does Roddy
I'm the one.
What does Roddy Tomatoes say about this film, Matt?
So the critic score, the tomato meter, is 93%.
That might be like the highest.
I think it might be the highest
that we've had so far.
And you know what? It deserves it. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm always curious, especially when we watch kind of older ones. Is the critic score like a rolling critic score, or is it like how it did with critics like when it came out?
There's no way to know, Garrett.
I would like to look into that.
Okay, well, maybe for next time.
But yeah, 93%, insane.
Yeah, insane.
And what about audience score?
80%. A
little lower.
Huh. A little lower, but still pretty high.
Yeah, and I feel like that is actually probably more of like like an accurate
depiction.
Gauge,
right?
Because people are going and clicking these reviews now. You know what I mean? Like people are still going and reviewing now. I agree with that. It's like that's probably from a wider period of time that people are
I would agree with you.
I mean, I'd give it like at least 90. I think
it's high on your list.
It's going to be super high on my list for sure.
Okay, interesting.
Do you think those Roddy Tomato scores are about accurate?
I think no. 93's high. It's high. I wouldn't put it much lower than that, but like 89, 90, yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Do we want to talk about where it falls on the lists?
No, let's just leave that entire section out of this podcast. Good night, everyone. Okay, so where is it on your list, Garrett?
Okay. I got to tell you, man.
Is this going to finally supplant the first? While you were sleeping? Sorry. I was like, what is the first
Can I tell you this is my new number one?
Is it really?
Yeah, for real.
Wow. Shifting everything down.
Everything shifts down one. So this will now supplant
While You Were
Sleeping, which is my current number one. This will be my actual number one now.
So your top three are Moonstruck, While You Were Sleeping, and
Devil Wears Prada. Devil Wears Prada is number three. Last is still Made in Manhattan.
And forever will be.
Yeah, listen. Like they're making
new
movies every day, like
there's got to be something existing that's just worse than that. Because it wasn't like a horrible movie. It was just nothing. It was a nothing movie. That's what made us put it at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's got to be something worse than that. Like something that's ostensibly horrible. I'm actually like re-looking at my list and being like, some of these movies probably deserve to be below that. Sorority Row almost indefinitely deserves to be below that.
I was way more entertained by Sorority Row than Made in Manhattan.
Okay, fine.
All right, where would you put this on your list?
I'm going to say this is my new number 5. So it goes, number 4 is While You Were Sleeping. Number 5 will be Moonstruck. And number 6 will be Spice World.
Wow, they shifted Spice World down for you.
Push Spice World. It's really great. I really enjoyed myself with this.
That's great.
Yeah.
And your number 1 still Devil Wears Prada?
Correct.
And your number 21?
Go ahead. You know what
it is.
Made
in Manhattan.
It's Made in Manhattan because it's going to be at the bottom for a very, 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 very long
I love that While You Were Sleeping is top 5 for you.
I saw it top 5 for you. I liked it.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Moonstruck is very good, and I really appreciated my time with it and my time with you while watching it.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like we can often tell how good a movie is or how much we're enjoying it by like how little we write down.
Oh yeah, this is one of those times that like I looked at I hit stop on the movie and I looked up. I was like, oh shit, I didn't write a single note.
Yeah, I took about a page and it was mostly names like Loretta Castorini just to get it right. You know,
just because you really wanted to get that bippity boppity, give me the zoppity kind of name in there.
Yeah, Ronnie and Johnny, ? That's ridiculous, ?
Is that ridiculous?
Well, Ronald and Jonald, who's going to name their kids that? You know? I don't think that's very believably Italian.
It's probably
Matt.
Giancarlo.
And Ron Carlo?
Yes, you know what? Yep. Yes, correct.
Oh, like Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Would it be
It
Ronaldo?
would probably be Ronaldo.
Oh, literally this whole time I was like, John and Ronald?
Well, Johnny.
Come on.
It's John and Ronald.
Gianni? You think it's like a
Might be
Gianni?
a Gianni.
Like a Gianni sort of thing?
Names get Americanized sometimes.
Gianni. Oh, que cosa.
Do you even know what you're saying?
That means what?
Yeah.
What thing?
I mean, it just basically means what?
Que cosa?
You're just saying what with a question mark now.
Que cosa?
Now you're just saying it like as a declarative. I don't really understand what you're trying to get out of here.
I don't know either.
No one could know.
God.
There's no way to know.
There really is no way to know.
What else? That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
This is hard because like there wasn't enough to make fun of in this movie.
There wasn't too much to pick apart. Like it's just good.
It's also very straightforward. There's no like side plots really. It's all just on the table.
100%.
Yeah.
Like the only nuance to it is like seeing what the like in each scene you kind of like try to consider that character's perspective, right? So you consider the mother's perspective, you consider Johnny's perspective, you consider Loretta, whatever, you consider the father, you consider the grandfather even. And I think the movie does a really good job of, without hitting you over the head with exposition or without like, you know, narration or any other tools, like the movie does a really good job of just showing their emotions and putting you in their head a little bit, like in each different character scene, I think.
And just making you feel like you're a real part of the Guinea family.
Wow.
Again, I'm allowed to say it.
Listen, like,
I'm a purebred.
I know we don't really edit these, but I think if you could just if you could go back and just.
I won't.
Just no, but
I
know
couldn't.
you should consider...
I really couldn't. I couldn't be bothered.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Okay, it's fine.
Garrett, take us home.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this.
As always, we appreciate your patronage.
I think next week we're gonna start doing Christmas movies if we can.
It's not December next week, is it? Oh shit, it is.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So I think the plan as of right now, and this may change, don't hold us to it, but I think the plan as of right now is to do a month of Christmas movies.
So many Christmas movies.
4 Christmas movies.
4 Christmases. There's one. No, it's not even. I don't think it's chick flick. It's not a chick flick. Isn't that like Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon?
I have no idea.
Yeah, there's no way to know.
Reese Witherspoon, and it's not a chick flick?
No. It's super not a chick flick.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so I think next week we're probably going to start doing Christmas movies. If you have any suggestions, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram or email us.
Otherwise, Garrett has to pick the first one, which is a fucking nightmare.
I have at least 2 in mind that I'm really excited about. So
can we put out there that I think that the final one of the year, or at least not final one of the year, but at least the final Christmas, it might be the final one of the year, I guess. I know math is hard.
Love Actually?
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the culmination.
That's Christmas. That's the Christmas week.
It's going to be Love Actually.
Yeah.
Then we'll do...
Christmas is on a Tuesday this year.
A Tuesday?
A Tuesday. So the Monday before Christmas will be the Love Actually episode.
Okay, great.
So I'm excited about that.
So you get to pick the first one, and then we'll go from there for the other 2.
Yeah, but if you have any suggestions for like really good Christmas movies that we can just sit through, or funny Christmas movies, or bad Christmas, like whatever you want us to, do this too.
We're gonna drink a bunch of bad Christmas drinks.
Oh my God, great. Old fizzy wig,
or like real old eggnog.
Oh man, eggnog.
Eggnog's got to be one of them, right?
I actually like eggnog a lot.
I've never had it.
Oh, it's delightful.
Is it really?
It's a little rough on the tongue.
What is it?
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you.
It's just like sweet. It comes in.
I thought you might be like a worldly person.
You pour vodka into it.
See, that doesn't seem like something that should go on a creamy drink.
I mean, like a White Russian is just like vodka.
I've never had a White Russian.
You're fucking up. All right, so we're gonna drink a bunch of Christmassy beers. There's a ton of them. We might even be able to like double down on different types of beers and episodes or something. It'll be really fun. Christmas month's gonna be really fun. Come back and listen. Thank you so much for listening this far. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. And if you want to reach out at at DrunkGuysonChickFlicks.
At gmail.com.
Well, no, at DrunkGuysonChickFlicks on Instagram.
Oh.
DrunkGuysonChickFlicks at gmail.com. At DGOCF on Twitter, and fuck Facebook. Find us on Facebook, but no one's checking that Facebook because fuck Facebook. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.